everyone! I know it's been a while. I've just recently come back from an overseas trip to South Korea, and I thought I would come on here and quickly show you a couple of the things that I got. My holidays have increasingly become centered around stationery shops, and this time it was no different. And Korea is such a great place for different kinds of stationeries. There's such a good variety of brands, lots of local artists, and I'm really excited to show you what I've got. So let's go. So the first shop that I visited was called Blueblack, and this is pretty much a fountain pen focused shop, and it was located in the Gyeongbokgung area. And I must say, if you're a fountain pen fan, I would highly recommend this shop. I got 7 inks here. Guys, I am slightly overwhelmed by the number of inks that I brought back, but I don't think I regret any of them because this shop has a lot of store exclusives, and I managed to get a couple of different brands that I wanted to try out. So I'll quickly run them through on screen just because I think if I go into too much detail, we're going to be here for a while. So this is the Sail and Blueblack exclusive. It's a Misugaru shade. So this is kind of like I think a mixed grains sort of drink. They have a lot of different drinks in this series, so some of the other ones that they have are iced lemon tea, I think, and then they also have the cherry coke one, which I think is quite popular. But I chose Misugaru because, number one, it's a brown ink, and I know I'm going to get a lot of use out of brown ink. And also, I love Misugaru. Like, this is pretty much the one thing that I would bring back if I were to bring back any form of food or drink from the supermarket. So I used to get a giant bag of it and then just like mix it up in a drink with milk and have it in the morning as breakfast. If you haven't tried Misugaru, love it, highly recommend it. I think it's also supposed to be healthy, so excellent. English milk tea, another drinks themed one. This is a diamond ink. I've never tried any of their inks before, but I've heard that diamond is a really popular brand for inks just because they have such a great variety, and also their inks are most of the time pretty well made. And there's also a 3 Oysters ink. So this one is the first. So I've got a couple of Korean made ink brands here, and 3 Oysters is the first of them, and this one is, I think, in the I Color You Seoul series, and it's called hwadam, which I think is meant to be this figure. I'll double check that, but I think this is meant to be like a stone grey basically. And again, I'm not usually a fan of greys, but this grey was really cool looking. I can't explain it. I just liked it, so I wanted to get it. I also wanted to try some of the inks from all of the different Korean made brands, which is why I chose this one from 3 Oysters. And then next up is All, which is another really well-known Korean brand. I got this ink because the purple just looked so unique to me, and I've read online reviews that this is supposed to be water resistant, which to me is always a plus point in my book because I want whatever I write to last, and I'm super clumsy. I always get water and like spills all over all my things, so anything I can do to protect myself against myself is a good thing. And the next thing I got was this one. Oh my gosh. So this is by Colorverse, which is another Korean brand, and the name of this shade is, it's not on the box, but this is the Korean name, and in English, if I'm not wrong, it translates to Space Eating Grapefruit. Guys, how can I not get an ink that is called Space Eating Grapefruit? It's so cute! And even the illustrations, I think they collaborated with a special artist to come up with the design for this box. And I don't think I mentioned this yet, but it is a limited edition Blueblack collaboration. So I think out of these, I've got 2 more, but I think these 3 are the special Blueblack exclusives. The rest, I'm pretty sure you can find them elsewhere, including the other 2 that I'm going to talk about next. But I think these 3 are the only ones that you can get from Blueblack. So, final 2 inks that I got are from Dominant Industry, which is also a Korean-made brand, if I'm not wrong. And you'll have seen that I've opened these up to play with them. I've actually swatched all of these inks on my own time. Let me know if you're interested in seeing a swatch of all of these inks on the channel. I would be more than happy to play around with them further. But these 2 are interesting because they are my first ever shimmer inks. This one is obviously lavender. So it's a very nice purple color with some white or silver pearl particles in the ink. And then this one is Autumn Forest, which is, surprise, surprise, a green slash brown ink. And the cool thing about this is it has kind of like pinkish shimmer, and I was just really drawn in by these two inks, and I also thought I wanted to get some shimmer inks to try because I don't have any in my collection at the moment. And yeah, these are the 7 ink bottles that I got. And then the other major purchase that I made from blueblack was, ta-da! So this is the Pilot Custom 74. And I have mentioned previously on this channel before that the next big pen purchases I was looking to get would be either the Pilot Custom 823 or the Esterbrook SD. And I'm aware that this is not either of those pens, but I went back to an in-person shop in Singapore, I tested the pens out, and I really just wanted to get my hands on this one instead. I feel like this is such a good size and weight for me because it's pretty light, and I feel like I think a light pen feels more comfortable in my hand, I think. And the nib that I got is a soft fine medium. And the thing about the Pilot Custom 823 is that it doesn't come in any of these soft nibs, which I really enjoy. And to me, I feel like this kind of got bumped up the list a little bit higher when I tried it in stores. So I got it, I've inked it up and started writing with it, only for just a bit, and I'm really, really loving the experience so far. It's not to say I won't get the other two pens, they are still on my wish list, but I'm happy to hold out a little bit longer for those. So these are the things that I got from blueblack. Oh, also just to say, I got this as a free gift when I got this ink. It's a sticker sheet, and I think this is just more of the illustrations that come with this particular ink. So yeah, that's it. So the other shop that I visited was Artbox, and these were the only two things that I got. Guys, I exercised a lot of self-restraint in the shop, so these were the only two things that I walked away with. It's two kind of like skinny sticker sheets. For those who may not be familiar with Artbox, it's a shop that sells a lot of things, so obviously like stationery things. There are also diaries. The thing about South Korea, actually, they do have a lot of their local brands, and a lot of these diaries were going for, I would say, very affordable prices when I compare them to Japanese brands like Hobonichi. So if you are in the market for a cute planner, like I'm talking lots of illustrations, lots of really cute like designs, and you don't mind some of them being in Korean. I think they have some English options as well, but of course a lot of those would be, a majority of those would be in Korean. If you don't mind something like that, and if you're not fussed about paper quality, if you're not like a fountain pen user, I would say Korea has a lot of options. I think Shopee might have some. I've seen them occasionally over the years, but if you do find yourself in Korea, this is, I would say, an excellent place to get them. Artbox. And they also do a lot of other trinkets like keychains, phone cases, pouches. You can imagine. Like they have pens and highlighters and all of those things as well. So definitely worth a visit. And I've gotten Artbox stickers before. I think they are of pretty great quality. I just thought these little like fish stickers and these tomatoes were really cute, so I got them and I can't wait to use them in my journals. So the next shop that I visited was a shop called Point of View, and this was a store located in the Seongsu area. Guys, Seongsu is popping, man. Like not so much for stationery. This was the only stationery shop that I could find there, but the shopping is insane. It was my first time in Seongsu, so I think I severely underestimated the number of shops that I would want to go into. So I ended up having to rush a lot of my shopping in the Seongsu area, which is not ideal, but I did manage to pop into this shop. It has 3 floors, and the vibe, I would say, is kind of like dark academia, but also still with that like clean, modern soul vibe. It was pretty crowded when I went there, so it was a bit hard to jostle around the different exhibits, especially on the first floor. But they did have quite a good range of stickers and stamps, mostly Japanese, but they also have, interestingly, they also have their own line of notebooks, so like point of view notebooks. I didn't get any of those because I don't feel like in need of any more notebooks, and also because I wasn't sure how they would perform with fountain pen ink, and I think I really started to be quite selective with the paper that I acquire, because if I get a notebook and then it's not fountain pen ink friendly, I'm just going to be really sad that I can't use most of my favorite pens with it. But anyway, enough yapping, let's get into what's in this package. Ooh. Sticker was already loose, but let's take a peek. Again, I didn't buy a lot of things. I had 2 sticker sheets, and these are their point of view designs. So this one's kind of like general, I think maybe this is like light academia, if I can call it that, and then this is kind of like secret garden, trees, mushrooms, swans vibes. And then final thing I got was this random eraser. This was, I think, fairly affordable. It was maybe 1,200 won, which is maybe $1 in Singapore dollars. So I thought, you know, new eraser. I'll always need eraser, so wouldn't say no to that. And that's it. Point of view is interesting because they also had a fairly modest fountain pen selection. So I saw that they had the Kakimori Frost fountain pen there. I remember seeing a couple of sailors. They also had a lot of the wooden dip pens and dip pen holders. So a few things to explore if you're into fountain pens. But otherwise, I think it's just a beautiful shop to walk around in and just soak in the vibes. It's also really well designed and organized because there are little nooks and corners that you can go around in. Oh, they did also have a Travelers Company selection. I didn't get any of it because I'm already thinking about switching over to the Hobonichi system for 2026. So I'm holding off on getting Travelers Company stuff. And I think those items are pretty accessible in Singapore where I am anyway. So I wasn't too worried about, you know, missing out on the opportunity. So the second to last place that I visited, and this is also the shop that I got the most things from, is this place called KT&G. I think they have a Korean name as well. I'll put it up on the screen, but this is a 2-story shop in Hongdae, and I did visit this shop before a couple of years ago when I was in Korea, and I remember being so excited by all of the different things they had, so I knew I had to go back. And this is a shop that has a lot of like all the different independent artists that I was talking about. So every desk or every counter that you go to, there would be a different artist with a completely different art style, different products, and it was just really, really fun to walk around and see all of the talent that was available in the shop. And the things that I got, so let me start with the biggest item. So I got this, so these are not part of it. Let me take these out. This is a ticket book that I got. And whoops. So this is a ticket book that I got, and the original intention I had was to put like a sticker, like to organize my sticker sheet, so I would put one per pocket, so it would be easy for me to have all of my stickers in one place, because currently it's just squeezed in somewhere in my drawer, and it's not very easy for me to see all of the stickers that I have at one go. But joke's on me, because I did not realize that these pockets are sewn in at the side here, which means that instead of having the entire width of this pocket, which I thought I would do, I only have this much. And this is not wide enough for a lot of the standard sticker sheets, at least the ones that I have. So I will need to figure out another use for this. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. I feel like I made a bit of a silly mistake with this purchase, but I'm sure I'll be able to find a use for you, good sir, until then. But until then, you shall live in my cupboard. So other than that, obviously I got a lot of stickers, more stickers, and then also like a sticky pad, like a memo pad. So This is from a brand called Gongjiang, and I'm not super familiar with all of these different brands that are on display, but again, part of the joy is really just going in and exploring and discovering new artists, and this was just so cute. And I felt like the design would be very usable just across all of the different things that I do in my journal. So excited to get to use this. And then just a series of stickers. This is from like a brand that I really quite like. It's called Second Morning. And then the main characters are like this lemon, there's a sweet potato. I think there are other things as well, like apples and stuff. And the slightly cute thing about this is that when they abbreviate the name of the brand, Second Morning, they take like the first two syllables, so it becomes like Semo, like SEMO. But then in Chinese, it sounds a bit like what? So it's like, what? I don't know, that just tickles me slightly. Anyway, some vegetables and Korean words, because why not? I like the colors from this one. And these two are Korean themed stickers. This one is from Swatilier, which is a brand that I have used before and I really like. Their designs tend to be quite simple, and their sticker quality, I think, is really quite outstanding. So really enjoy that. And then this one is from, I'm not sure what the brand is, but it's just like a collection of really tiny stickers that are all Korean themed. So I think there are a couple of iconic buildings and figures and statues, and there's the flag. So yeah, I thought it would be quite useful when I do when I eventually get around to doing a travel spread. Maybe if I have the inspiration to do it. But yeah, just thought this would be quite useful for that. And then a couple of other things that I got. This one I think is, yeah, it's also a sticker pack, and it's just a tin, and it's a duck. And this was actually a gift from my husband. So as he was walking around the store with me, he saw this and he was like, I'm gonna get this for you. This reminds me of you. And I was like, okay, sure. Yeah, I thought this would be quite cute. And the tin, I think, is going to be quite useful for keeping other knickknacks as well once I'm done with the stickers inside. So happy with this one. And then, ooh, a Penco clip. I've been thinking about this clip for a long time because I see this all the time in the stationery community. This, and then like the other Japanese clip where it's kind of like shaped like two legs this way, and the idea is that it's meant to hold your book open without like leaving a mark on your books. I think it won lots of stationery awards. Anyways, that one is much more expensive, I think. In Singapore, I've seen it go for like $20 per clip, and I've never felt that I needed a clip. But then as I started doing fountain pen ink swatching, I realized that I need the book to stay open for as long as the ink takes to dry, because I don't want to deal with like ink smudges on the other side of the page and like inks mixing around with the ink on the opposite side. So I was like, okay, I could do with a clip, and so this is the one I got. They had so many options in the store, and I just went with the glow in the dark one because even if it wasn't glow in the dark, I liked the cream against the green, so I thought that was quite cute. And yeah, really like this one. And then final two things that I got from this shop were a stamp. So this one is from a series featuring a dinosaur. Okay, it's called Joguman, I think. So this is the dinosaur, and it's so dumb. It's just so cute. And I got one that says like check. So I think I have a feeling this might need to be like a self-stamping one, so it doesn't come inked. And I don't currently own any stamp pads because this is the first stamp that I've gotten. And I know I've said before that I don't want to get into stamps because it's a rabbit hole, and I used to say that about fountain pens, and look at me now. But I have so many fountain pen inks that I feel like I'm gonna be able to get away with it. Like, I don't think I will need any specialized ink pads. But let's see if I'm proven wrong. And then this last thing is quite an interesting one. It's like a combination of these different circle stickers, and I think it's supposed to be like a, hold on, let me see if I can figure out what this one is.